Gentlemen, I have finally concocted a foolproof way to destroy Superman once and for all. Now, if you'll all stop snickering at me, I'm going to tell you what this foolproof plan is. I said stop snickering at me. I know I didn't succeed before, or the time before that, and nobody else has been able to succeed, but I'm going to destroy the last surviving son of Krypton once and for all. Stop snickering. Stop goddamn snickering. I am Lex Luthor, goddammit. You will respect me. And how are you going to respect me? Well, you can respect me by helping me. Because you are the foremost leaders in harnessing nuclear energy and nuclear power, nuclear weaponry, and you all want to gain so much money. That's the whole point of nuclear weapons, is to gain money and control the chaos and bring up those profits. And you can help me do that by lending me one of your nuclear weapons. Well, actually, you're not going to be able to just lend me one of your nuclear weapons because, well, it's going to go boomy, 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 boom, and all the pieces are going to be floating in space, and I'm not going to be able to pick up the pieces. Pick up the pieces. Now imagine Gene Hackman singing Average White Man. Now, back to the scenario. You guys will be able to see the destruction of the last surviving son of Krypton when I can take one of those nuclear weapons. And Lenny, my nephew, that has been working on genetic material engineering experimentation with one of Superman's hairs, and one of his follicles will be his downfall. He will take that nuke and he will send it into the sun. Not an island in the sun like Weezer once said. He will send it into the sun. He will create his ultimate arch nemesis. Somebody that can match him blow for blow, laser for laser, bad special effect for bad special effect, and bad piece of dialogue for bad piece of dialogue. Nuclear Man. Nuclear. It's pronounced nuclear. Homer Simpson, what are you even doing here? The Tracy Ullman Show hadn't even brought you guys on yet, where you had really, really rough designs and the voice acting wasn't all that great. And how the fuck did The Simpsons survive being on the Tracy Ullman Show? Who remembers that The Simpsons was on the Tracy Ullman Show? I believe Tracy Ullman Show actually did start somewhere around this time. But nevertheless, enough of the scenario. I'm John Renton with a retro view of Superman for The Quest for Peace for 1987. Okay, here's a question for you in the beginning. Well, after that very, very long scenario-filled intro, what was the worst sequel from 1987? This or Jaws Revenge? Or Jaws the Revenge? That's a tough one. That's a really tough one. I'll go this because, oh boy, where to start with this? Let's start with the director. Sidney J. Furie or Furry? If he was a furry, then he needs to be studied. Because I'm sorry, you're all weird. I don't kink shame here, but that's just weird to me. He did The Entity. Actually, we should have gotten The Entity from Mission Impossible 7 and 8 and had it study and possibly, I don't know, trap furries to figure out what the fuck is wrong with them. Enough about furries. Let's talk about the fact that Sidney also did Iron Eagle 1 and 2. Who knew they did 2 Iron Eagle movies? They did 2 more. They did 4 Iron Eagle movies. Really? I mean, fucking really, when they had like enough material for maybe 1.5. So, the story is by Christopher Reeve, which actually explains why, well, I'll talk about some things with this in due course. But yeah, Christopher Reeve wanted to basically get a story credit, and he hated nuclear weapons and wanted to bring about peace, so he did this. Hence the Quest for Peace line. Mark Rosenthal and Lawrence Connor also apparently wrote this. I refuse to actually believe that human beings wrote this movie. I thought Superman 3 with the Richard Pryor comedy special co-starring Superman was bad. No, this was worse. You had Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor. Once again, you had Margot Kidder. You did have Mark Pillow. That's his actual name, as Nuclear Man. This was one of like 4 roles he had. He was the Tom McGee of movie villains. Vince McMahon would have loved to have signed him. I'm not saying that the guy was necessarily terrible because he wasn't really allowed to do anything. John Cryer was in this. And David Warfield, you'll recognize that actor. I'm going to leave that as a little bit of tidbit, but at least Mariel Hemingway was in it, and boy, did she look good back then. Me, oh my, down on the bayou. There was a point where she was sitting on a desk just looking all like only she could look. So, yeah, Superman wants to destroy nuclear weapons, ends up inadvertently creating Nuclear Man. Let's talk about the numerous problems with this movie. 1, The $36 million budget that was originally slotted was actually cut down almost, or just over half, to $17 million by Canon Group Inc. because they were having financial issues. I mean, it was a group named like Canon Group Inc. It's inevitable that they were going to have issues because it's a stupid name. They also ended up canning a Spider-Man flick. I can only imagine how a Spider-Man flick would have looked in the late 80s. Slashing the budget to $17 million meant that the special effects were going to look terrible. Even if the budget was 36, even if the budget was like 30, the special effects are going to look terrible because this was such a rushed production. The original film, by the way, had a $55 million budget. The original Superman, that is. Stuntman John Lees apparently got in a court fight with them because he had career-ending injuries from, I don't know what stunt, but it was something. And basically, Canon Group Inc., even though Warner Bros. Had something to do with this, you would have thought Warner Bros. Just distributing this, they would have had more money to put behind this. But they cut, Canon Group, that is, cut the film that was originally supposed to be 134 minutes long, which, by the way, for non-math majors, that's 2 hours and 14 minutes, which I think is a couple minutes longer than the third one, and right around the length of the second one, and cut it down to 90 minutes because they thought, okay, we'll use the footage that we shot here that we deleted for a fifth movie. And also, 90 minutes means we can have more showings, and then we can make more money. Guess what it didn't do? It didn't make more money. $17 million budget, $48.1 million today. In awful English, $5.6 million opening. Okay, not great, the lowest so far, but fine. $15.8 million today. $15.6 million U.S. and Canada gross. $44.1 million in today's money. $30.2 million worldwide gross. $85.4 million. So it may have turned a profit, barely, even though even back then a lot of movies needed to do double their budget, double their fun, doublement, oh shit, this movie sucks. But yeah, this basically almost killed live-action Superman for a while. Yes, you had Lois and Clark, The Adventures of Superman. That's back before we realized Dean Cain was a big chin Robert Z'Dar knockoff that didn't have nearly the charm of Robert Z'Dar and also ended up becoming a right-wing crackpot. And Christopher Reeve, his ego was just so goddamn high, like he was riding the high horse that bucked him off on May 27, 1995. I mean, that's terrible that it happened. He was saddled with a lot of problems. Like, I could stop this, but I won't. I mean, just, it's going to stir up a lot of controversy if I don't. Going to sow the wild oats here. Can I go on with this? I mean, I should close the door on these things, but I was born in a house. I was not born in a barn. I think I probably screwed up that metaphor, but nevertheless. So, yeah, fraught with problems. I mean, fraught with goddamn problems. Read up on IMDb, because I can't even cover all this shit. So let's talk about the plot. First, he rescues some Russian cosmonauts. By the way, this is a better use of Russian cosmonauts and moonshots than Apollo 18. And this movie sucked. So, the ship is now in the barn floor, evidently. I mean, I'm sure they moved it. There is a moon rock. Oh, wow. It's a Kryptonian rock. It has the power of Krypton, and he can use it once, and then he will be stuck on the planet forever. Here's my question. Where would he have gone had he wanted to go anywhere else? Because Krypton's done. Krypton. That's done. No other planet really would have any citizens he could save. And he has his Fortress of Solitude. Also, no Annette O'Toole in this as Lana Lang, after they pretty much implied that he was going to end up with her. Personally, I would have rather been taking a chance on Annette O'Toole than Margot Kidder. All due respect to Margot Kidder. May she rest in peace. Deleted footage used for a fifth film, and they really thought they had a hit on their hands. I mean, I don't know if they thought they had a hit on their hands or they just thought that they could get enough suckers to go there, which, to be fair, they still got $30 million out of this fiasco. And Clark won't sell the farm, the family farm, to anybody that isn't a farmer. And I just love the fact that nephew Lenny shows up in a weird car that ends up trapping and blowing up a couple cops. actually don't get blown up. Just about that time, them Duke boys showed up. The guy playing Lenny was really, really ridiculous. I mean, just looked like he was straight out of fucking Grease and not in it, more like Grease 2. You know, the terrible one. A runaway subway is stopped by Clark. Now, he does have that rock, that Kryptonian rock. And David Warfield, as the owner of the goddamn, thing, as owner of the Daily Planet, all this stuff's jumbled around because, again, this is 90 minutes, and that is with end credits. So this movie's actually about 85 minutes. Reeves says we need to stop the nukes. That is pretty much word for word and verbatim what the hell we get here. And Mariel Hemingway said, about Clark, don't be silly. All men like me. I'm very, very rich. I like Mariel Hemingway. I mean, back then, I don't know a man that wouldn't have. So, a kid named Jeremy, I think, who is broken, according to Pearl Jam, ended up basically writing Superman instead of writing the congressman and said, Superman can stop all the nukes. Because this ain't a scene, that's a goddamn arms race. And Superman's gonna stop all the nukes. And he does. And I'm sorry, but this is just freaking ridiculous. He goes to this, he goes to the summit. Meanwhile, Lex Luthor steals a piece of Superman's hair that's in an exhibit that's holding a giant 1,000-pound ball. Almost as big as some of the balls I saw at the gym when I used to work at the YMCA, but I'll just leave that one hanging right there, ironically. And yeah, from there we don't really have any, we don't have any, like, positive shit going on here. Superman's forbidden to interfere, but has interfered constantly, so I don't really understand what he's interfered, whatever, it's okay. And they're saying it's betrayed, it's betrayal, you're betraying us, the betrayal of it all. And then he talks to Lois and ends up basically surprising her by showing that he's Superman, and maybe it's a dream, maybe it's a not. Because remember, he ended up kissing her at the end of the second movie and making her forget that. The green screen effects are just terrible. I mean, all of this is terrible. Puma, man, he flies like a moron. He speaks at the summit, then takes care of all the nukes, goes to Russia and takes care of the nukes. Our current government just loves getting in bed with Russia. Or the Russian government. The Russian people, actually, I'm sure, are very nice. So, puts them all in a giant net and throws them into the goddamn sun. And then Lex Luthor, who was in jail, by the way, in Lenny Freedom, he talks to a few evil guys. One that was played by the guy that played Porkins in A New Hope. May he rest in peace. Not because he died in A New Hope, because he actually died for real in 2005. I hope that he did not end up blowing up for real. As hilarious as that would be, what is wrong with me? Lenny, working on the hair, creates some genetic material, and ends up basically getting the whole damn thing thrown into the sun. Mark Pillo's career never recovered from that. I mean, he never really got started, because I think this was his first movie. He looked the part, he looked great. But he then shows up and everything, Nuclear Man and all this, after Superman sends the nuke in there, and he says, he's speaking in Gene Hackman's voice, Gene Hackman's Luthor voice, you are nothing, I am the father now, look at me, I am the father now. And God, this is awful. Lex basically figures out his weakness and takes him out of the sun is the source of his power. Now, to be fair, Superman gets healed by the sun, but he can be out of the sun. Nuclear Man can't. Horrendous special effects. I mean, just utterly terrible. And then, but mind you, we are skipping over so much. We're skipping over Mariel Hemingway acting attractive. Not acting attractive, but acting really sexy, even though she didn't really have to act back then. At least I like her. I don't know. Maybe I'm just nuts. But we're skipping over that. We're skipping over David Warfield wanting to take over the Daily Planet because he tried to do a hostile takeover. Percy White, played by Jackie Cooper, couldn't get the thing going. Couldn't fight the damn thing at least yet. Good Night, Sweet Prince. Parting is inevitable. Destroys Superman, and then they get in just the worst goddamn fight. I mean, my God. The Great Wall of China being built, but actually it was more like China, New Hampshire, which I don't think is a real city, but I'm just going to roll with it. They had to do the prolapse photography, which this movie was a prolapse, where the blocks end up getting built and put back together Ray Bradbury style. And then idiots in space are fighting and doing stupid shit. And then we get the Statue of Liberty, and give me your tired, your poor, and your stupid writers yearning to be stupid. I didn't really have a good bit there, so I'm sorry, but Superman ends up basically getting beat up pretty badly, to the point that he's sick and he's ill. And Lois gives him a pep talk, and he uses the rock, and he's fine. I mean, he's losing his hair, but then he's fine. Is he losing his power, or is he just losing his confidence? See, there might have been more meat to this, but the problem is that if they had kept the original footage in this, it might have made a little more money. It might have been a little bit better received, but after number 3 was such a dumpster fire, I don't think there was any saving this franchise. They had to basically gut the thing. Clark uses a green rock, and he is back. Lex basically uses Nuclear Man to take over this business this working relationship he started with these 3 guys, including Porkins, and he has all these stacks of money. And then they basically get the stupidest goddamn fight. We get a firefight in whatever city this is supposed to. It's not New York. It's not Metropolis. But, I mean, it's supposed to be, but it's obviously not that. The sets are getting blown up. He's using his red raspberry jam shots to kill and fry people, and sets are blowing up. And then the idea is Superman manages to outsmart him, pushes him in the elevator, and closes it. And now he doesn't have the sun, so he's all just, combobulated. Rips the elevator out, takes the elevator onto the goddamn moon, because we're idiots on the moon. We don't carry a harpoon, but we throw an elevator into the sun, and we carry our wailing tune. I don't really have an end for that. And they battle really stupidly on the moon, knocking the flag over that obviously was put there when they filmed, when they filmed the moon landing. I kid, of course, they obviously went to the moon. It would have cost more to film the thing. It's Fly Me to the Moon, Savage. Fly Me to the Moon is a much better use of moon footage than this. And then just the moon fight is just terrible. I mean, it's just terrible. He ends up knocking Superman into the goddamn moon ground, and then ends up seeing a picture of Mariel Hemingway, and was like, okay, Lacey. I think Lacey was her name. Lacey actually was the name of my longest term girlfriend. Years and years ago, a lifetime ago, as they say. But he wants Mariel Hemingway. Who doesn't? And then he ends up taking Lacey after Superman basically gets free. He pushes the moon into an eclipse formation, and then he has to rescue her. He has to basically take Nuclear Man and throw him into a reactor that powers the whole thing. So Springfield is saved. And then Perry White ends up buying all the shares and basically gets money lended to him so the Daily Planet can fight another day, and Dave Warfield can't do anything. And Superman talks about how we are all one people. I am you, and you are me, and we are all together. Supes takes Lenny to a reform school with a very creepy priest, and takes Lex back to jail. And says, the world is as it always is, on the brink with good fighting evil. See you in 20. And then it ends with him flying, up above Earth, doing the thing, and smiling, and then taking up, and just really bad special effects. At least they didn't announce that another Superman movie was happening, because I think they knew that this was going to fail. I don't know if they knew it was going to fail like this, but boy, Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. Yeah. I may do Superman Returns, I may do Man of Steel. We will see, because it's getting close to where I'm going to be working a lot, but also we got the holidays, and also I'm kind of burned out on reviewing Superman movies, because I've reviewed 4 in the last, 3 weeks? In addition to all the other movies I've done. But nevertheless, let me know your thoughts on Superman 4, The Quest for Peace in the comments. Please like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Redland. Until we meet again, happy trails to you.